everyone, it's Roberta. I am going to work on painting this piece of paper, which is just that Nina 65-pound paper that you can get at the Walmart. It's called Bright White, not the Solar White. It's only 65, not 110. As far as I know, you could still do the same thing on that paper as well. I've used heavier duty cardstock, designer series paper and made it a leathery type paper, which is what I want to do with this. But this is white and I want to color it, and I'm wearing my favorite dress, and it has this lime green with the turquoise and the olive green and some yellow and white, and so I want to try to make something with those kind of colors. And so I'm going to do the paper with this green color, and I'm going to condition the paper first with my glycerin water. It's 1 part glycerin and about 6 parts water. And I'm just going to douse it really good. And just put this color all over it. Just love that color. It's way brighter than my dress. It's so pretty though. It's almost like a fluorescent color. This color is called Kiwi. A very bright yellowy green color. And you can add layers and layers of the glycerin water on this project, and it helps the paper to not tear, which is what you want. You don't want it to tear. I'm going to add some more water first. It's already starting to dry, even though it's wet, the top of it is drying. The glycerin and the water go into the paper fibers. So when I say drying, I mean it's the surface of it that's dry, not the inner fibers. I had done this before using some coffee water, and it actually kind of removed the coffee stain, so it'll be interesting to see what it does with paint pigment. Not sure, and see, this is already dry again. Not really sure how it's going to work with paint pigment, if it'll kind of leach or bleach out the color that way as well. And by adding the glycerin to the water, the glycerin is what gets in between the paper fibers and softens them up so that the paper can be crumpled and so that it doesn't tear. Okay, so now I'm looking for a bright turquoisey color. I don't know if this is bright or dark, but I guess that'll work. For this, I just want to do some splatter. Or I should just go ahead and paint flowers, right? I think so. I need a good paintbrush for that. I don't think I really have a good one for that. I'm going to move this over a little bit. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and wet the back of it too. That way it'll get saturated on both sides. You have to make sure you get the edges on the sides of it as well. Along these sides, what I'm referring to. I'm going to use this area, add some of this turquoisey color, and get this wet again. I'm not really good with a paintbrush with this kind of a technique. And it makes it interesting because the paper is already saturated and it has a layer of glycerin water on top. So I'm not going to get like the clean brush strokes that I normally would. Just transferring some of the green. That one turned out pretty good. Well, some of it has thick pigment, some of it has watered down. Everyone, I'm back. The paper is a little bit moist still. The paint is dry. And so I'm going to wet it with some more of the glycerin water to get it ready for me to crumple it. Actually, I forgot. I still wanted to do some more painting. I need to add some yellow and white and more green. Okay, I'm back. This paper has dried with this, and now I just want to add some black, some splatters, and some lines. Paper is dry, and I'm going to keep part of it to make some cards and ATCs. So I'm going to cut a piece of it off. I'm going to do about 3 inches. I guess I should make it 4. This is the part I'm going to keep for using for cards and ATCs. This is a piece that I'm going to work into making it like leather, simply by wetting it with the glycerin water. It already has a lot of glycerin in it, and the water is going to make the paint reactive, so I'm not wetting it on the front side, and I'm going to let it dry enough so that the glycerin is on the back. I have the piece of paper that I had worked on yesterday and cut into 2 ATCs, and a piece of paper that's going to be cut into different things to make some cards. And these are more paper-like. They do have some glycerin water sprayed on them, so the fibers are a little more pliable. And this paper has a lot of glycerin in the fibers, and this has a lot less. And so this is just very wimpy, whereas this is stiffer. And that's because it doesn't have quite as much of the glycerin. And so for this piece of paper, I'm going to gently crumple it to make it kind of leathery with wrinkles in it. And because of the glycerin, it shouldn't tear. So it's just going to get a very worn texture to it, very similar to leather. You see there's no tears. Now it's not saying that there, you know, positively won't be, because the paper can still tear, but it's just much less likely. And I just wanted to see what it would be like to have painted the paper first. And see, it looks very leathery. The more wrinkles, the softer the fabric is. It looks softer, it looks more like leather, and it can be smoothed out. And because glycerin is a different type of a vegetable oil, it doesn't make other things that it touches greasy with the grease stain. Like if I used soy oil, corn oil, or any other vegetable oil, that grease stain would transfer to whatever would be touching this. But that doesn't happen with the glycerin. And just see how soft this is. I mean, it does, it just feels exactly like leather. And now it has this this pretty painted design on it. So I'd be able to make something from it. And what I want to make is a little booklet. And so to give it a durability, I want to add paper to the inside, and then make kind of like the scripture journals that I'd made last year. Make something like that with it. This is a piece of that paper I was designing the other day, and I painted it with that kiwi green, some turquoisey blue flowers, some yellow flowers, white and black splatter. And this is paper that I treated with the glycerin water. This piece I had cut off is treated 100% with the glycerin water, and that's why it's so limp. It softens it up like a piece of leather. And if you watch the other video, which is not loaded on YouTube yet, but it will be, you can see that I crinkled the paper to give it a soft, weathered texture, similar to leather. This is actually the process to turn your paper into paper leather, by soaking it with some glycerin water and then gently wrinkling it to give it the leathery-like texture. but the glycerin softens the fiber so that it does not have any strength or durability to stand firm on its own. Now this paper was spritzed with the glycerin water, but only during the time that I was painting, and I also did not break up the fibers by adding more glycerin and scrunching the paper. This paper is still a flat piece of paper, no wrinkling.